Hey guys, this is God of Politics. I'm going to go back to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in today's video, I do want to analyze the importance of ticket splitting, talking about how important actually was it in this election. So there has been a lot of talk about ticket splitting, saying that it has been declining, and yes, it certainly has been declining, but it did actually make a difference in this election in a number of races that I will be talking about in today's video. So if you don't know, ticket splitting is where you vote for one candidate of one party, and then for a different race on your ballot, on your whole ticket, you vote for a candidate of a different party. So if you voted for Joe Biden and David Perdue, or if you voted for Donald Trump and Andy Kim, then you split your ticket between those candidates. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. So this is Dave Wasserman talking about the districts that did split their tickets between either Biden and a down ballot Republican or Trump and a down ballot Democrat. You should go follow him on Twitter. He's a great guy. He's got a lot of good analysis, so you should check that out. But there were 16, possibly 17 districts if Anthony Brindisi does end up winning. That's still up in the air. There's a lot of court cases pending, recounts, etc. That's going to take a long time to sort out. It shouldn't really take that long to sort out, but that's the way it is. So there are 9 districts where Joe Biden won the district and the down ballot Republican won, and there are 7, again, possibly 8 districts where Trump won the district and the down ballot Democrat won. And a lot of these are quite interesting to see. You look at a district like Maine's 2nd district where Jared Golden won by quite a significant margin, and Donald Trump also won that district by quite a significant margin. You can look at New Jersey's 3rd congressional district with Andy Kim, where Donald Trump narrowly won the district, but Andy Kim won by around 8 percentage points. You can look at Nebraska's 2nd district where Biden won by around 7 percentage points, but Kari Eastman lost by around 6-7 percentage points, if I recall correctly. So it is quite interesting to analyze the importance of this. So we do look at the current makeup of the House. There are currently 222 Democrats, 211 Republicans, 0 independents, and 2 toss-up races that have yet to be decided. Iowa's 2nd congressional district is most likely going to go to the Republican candidate, and New York's 22nd, it's very, very difficult to tell. But I would say that Brindisi might just be favored, especially since that the party in the majority in the House gets to decide who they seat, and I would suspect that they wouldn't seat Claudia Tenney, but we'll have to see how this all turns out. It's not been decided yet, but just for the sake of this, we're going to put this in the Democratic column. So, for example, if you put all of the districts where the down ballot Republican candidate won and Joe Biden won, you actually get quite an interesting result. First, you can look at California's 21st congressional district, where David Vallado defeated T.J. Cox. You can look at California's 39th district, which that's the 48th. You can also look at the 39th district here. You can also look at a district like Texas's 24th district, which is this district right over here. You can look at another district like Florida's 27th congressional district. Joe Biden did do very well, very poor. He did very poorly in the Miami-Dade area, but he actually did win that district, and the down ballot Democrat did lose. We also have Nebraska's 2nd district, of course. We have John Katko's district, which is the district over here. We have Pennsylvania's 1st congressional district, which is over here. Fitzpatrick is a very good candidate here. And so after you fill out all of those, I believe actually the final one is California's 25th congressional district, where Mike Garcia did barely eke out a victory here. So if we do look at that, we do fill that last district in. All of those are filled in, all 9 of those. We can see here, if Democrats had won those districts, they would have gotten 232 seats, which is very, very remarkable. Not remarkable, but it's very significant to note the difference between what actually happened and what would have happened if they had won the districts that Joe Biden had won. And this is showing, one of the things that we really did not expect from this election, which is actually that Joe Biden overperformed the down ballot Democrats. A lot of people assumed that people would vote for down ballot Democrats due to the incumbency advantage, the fundraising advantage, a lot of the trends that were in their favor. But one of the things that we saw, which is going to be very important in the future, is that the trends were much, much less strong at the congressional level, and that it does show that Donald Trump is a big contributor to that suburban trend. He's, again, not the starter of it. He's not going to be the end of it, but he is an exacerbation of it. And so we did see that at the congressional level, where Biden did do better, especially in, some of these Orange County districts down here, the 48th, the 39th. We have the district, in LA County and the Simi Valley area, which is the 25th district. And so you do see a number of significant things there. And most down ballot Democrats did underperform Joe Biden. You can only think of a few exceptions, like, again, Andy Kim, Jared Golden, Mark Kelly. There's very, very few examples of that. But, flipping it, if Republicans did win the districts where Biden won their districts. So if the Republicans won in the districts that Trump won, so first you look at Illinois' 17th congressional district, where Sherry Bustos narrowly won. You can look at Iowa's 3rd congressional district, which Trump did also win. He won all 4 Iowa districts. You can look at Maine's 2nd. You can look at Michigan's 8th congressional district with Alyssa Slotkin. You can look at New Jersey's 3rd congressional district. You can look at as well as Brindisi's district, New York's 22nd congressional district. You can finally look at Pennsylvania's 8th congressional district, which is over here, and Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. If they had done that, they would have had 220 seats. The Republicans would have taken the House if they had won all of those seats, plus the districts where Trump also won. So it's quite significant to see. But, again, if there were no ticket splits, let's say there was no ticket splits, you put all of these seats back into the Republican column, these 4 California seats, 4 seats which the Republicans did flip this election. Technically, California's 25th was in the special election, but it's the same idea. You also add on to that list Nebraska's 2nd district. You also put the 24th district in Texas, which is over there, a very small district. You also do Florida's 27th congressional district, and then there are just a couple more. Again, Pennsylvania's 1st congressional district, Texas's 24th congressional district, and there is also the I do believe that is it. Okay, so we've got 224 seats for Democrats and 211 for Republicans if there were no ticket splits. So that is quite interesting to see, is that it did go both ways, but overall what we saw is that there was a very limited amount of ticket splitting. It does note here by Dave Wasserman that in 2016 there were 35 districts that had the same case as this. In 2008 there were 83 of these districts. So it's very, very notable how much less ticket splitting districts there were. And so in the House, it didn't make much of a difference because, again, there's only 16 of them out of 35, which is a very small percentage points of them. I believe around 4%, something like that. And it did not make much of a difference because if you give those districts to the Democrats and Republicans respectively, it ends up getting a very similar number. But it did make a difference in the Senate, most notably in Maine, where Susan Collins got a very, very decisive victory of 8.6 percentage points over Lisa Savage. Here she did very well, only losing 2 counties, whereas if you look at the presidential level, Joe Biden did win Maine very easily. He won it by 9.1 percentage points, winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counties. So he won 4 times as many counties as Sarah Gideon, and he did much better than her, almost winning, this other county, Androscoggin County. It's very difficult to pronounce, but the point still stands that Joe Biden didn't do much better than Sarah Gideon did. A 9-point win versus an 8.6 percentage points loss. That's over a 17 percentage point difference. And, if Democrats had won that seat, you didn't have so much ticket splitting. Democrats would be at 49 seats at that point. Another example is Georgia, where you do have Biden, who very narrowly won the state, versus David Perdue, who won by 1.8 percentage points. So again, you had Perdue, who won by 1.8 percentage points, and Joe Biden, who won by 0.24 percentage points. You add that together, you see a 2.04 percentage point difference, and that's how much David Perdue ran ahead of Jon Ossoff. And while David Perdue did not get 50% of the vote, and that's why we have a runoff, had Jon Ossoff done just as well as Joe Biden, we would still be going to a runoff, but he still would be winning, and I believe that he'd be in a much better position going into November because he underperformed in the suburbs, and that's what I mentioned before. The suburban trend is exacerbated by Trump. He makes the trend worse for Republicans, but it is still there. David Perdue did not lose all of these counties in 2014 in his last run when he won by 8 percentage points. So it's very notable in those 2 races, and it's very notable all around. Most Democrats, down ballot Democrats, underperformed Joe Biden, and while it didn't make much of a difference in most of these states, it did make a difference in Maine. It did make a difference in Georgia, and could have made a difference in a state like Michigan. It could have made a difference in a state like Arizona, where Mark Kelly actually overran Joe Biden in this district. If you look at New Mexico, Ben Ray Lujan also underperformed Joe Biden. Same thing with John Hickenlooper. Same thing with Gary Peters. Same thing with Tina Smith. There's very few exceptions to this. Gene Shaheen ran ahead of Biden. Mark Kelly ran ahead of Biden. Mark Warner ran ahead of Biden. But that's mainly due to the poor quality of the Republican candidates, not due to the great quality of the Democratic candidates. And so what is the reason the Democrats did do worse down ballot? Well, part of the reason could be that, Trump was just that bad of a candidate. Republican candidates down ballot did do a lot better because they are a more stable party. They were able to get the support that they needed. Another reason could be they had a lot more ground game going. They had a lot more knocking on doors, trying to turn out those voters, especially for the Republican down ballot candidates. Another scenario or another hypothesis is that Republicans have just generally been better at down ballot, at least in recent memory. If you look at these state legislature results, Republicans flipped around 100 seats, and they've generally been better at those, races, and it did end up showing in this election. And a fourth hypothesis that could be possible is that just the Democratic Party is not very popular, despite the fact that they won the House popular vote by around 3 percentage points. They're just not at the support level that they do need to win these kinds of races, and so that kind of ties in with the first point of Trump being unpopular. Trump's unpopularity ended up giving Democrats the victory, and it wasn't that Joe Biden was some sort of special candidate, and it wasn't that the down ballot Democrats in these heavy Trump districts were special enough to win in these districts, because they didn't end up winning. And so that is one of many hypotheses for what happened this election, why you had ticket splitting, and why you had Democrats doing worse down ballot. I can make more videos into this if you guys do enjoy this video, but I did think that this was very important to make. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later.